Hi, Misha here. And the last time we talked NECA predators, we really went in depth with the City Hunter, aka the Ghost, Demon, and my personal favorite nickname, Psycho Vigilante. Now, he was, of course, the antagonist of Predator 2, 1990, which actually took place in 1997, but yeah. The original Predator gave us one Predator, Jungle Hunter. Predator 2, though, didn't give us one or two, even three. It actually gave us a total of 10, although most of these were only seen briefly at the end of the film, and only one had any speaking lines. That would be the head of the clan known as Grayback, also the Golden Angel. A lot of these will have double names. And later on, the clan was known as the Lost Tribe. In universe, the reasoning is because they traveled so far afield into deep space, into pockets to hunt basically rednecks, i.e. humans. Yes, to predators, all humans are rednecks. The real-world explanation, after the filming of Predator 2, most, if not all, the costumes and props disappeared or stolen. Hence the Lost Tribe kind of moniker. Of course, then, in 1990, no one knew this would become a huge franchise. So, we're going to talk about each member. These are all from NECA. These are all the Ultimate, and they are part of a collection. Plus, we once again have the Mothership in the back from the Cinema Machines series from NECA. And I've loosely arranged them based on their ranking, age, experience level within the clan. So we'll, as usual, talk about real-world and in-universe lore, compare and contrast, look at the different molds and bodies that NECA uses. Many are the same, but some are quite different. And, let me know at the end which is your favorite Predator. As always, please do like, share, and subscribe. With that, let's briefly revisit City Hunter here, just to talk about his position in the clan. So this is the City Hunter Ultimate, who is actually not part of the Lost Tribe series. They did the damaged City Hunter for that, but I wanted to show him in his full glory before he gets cut up by Danny Glover. We talked about his weapons, his combi stick, wrist blades, his alternative plasma caster, his neck gun, his wrist gauntlet with flechette launcher. And of course he has the Medicomp on the back that we see used in the film. So his position in the tribe, we don't really know how long he was a member, but what we do know, he was a young blood who was recently blooded, and this was his first solo hunt. There's a few different things. Some people say the rest were just there to observe. Others say that he hunted LA by himself, but the other predators hunted elsewhere in the world. I kind of believe this. I can't imagine 9 Yautja would just sit on a ship while one of their own, especially the youngest, had fun. I understand being his first solo hunt, they want to leave him alone, even within America. But there's a whole globe to play with. So I have a feeling that they only really collected in LA to kind of see the end of his hunt, because obviously it had been going on for a few days and they knew it was happening. So in some ways, he was one of the youngest and least experienced members. Still, he seemed very technologically savvy. He had advanced technology and a lot of gadgets. And if he wasn't so overconfident, he probably would have won. Then again, it was Hollywood, so he was always going to lose. That's one thing I don't like about a lot of the Predator stuff. These are supposed to be the greatest hunters yet in not just the films, but comics and everything, they always end up dying. I mean, once in a while it's fine, but it's kind of the Worf effect from Star Trek. Worf always got beat up, even though he's supposed to be this mighty Klingon. Kind of the same thing here if you think about it. So I actually enjoy it when the Predators win. AVP, not a great film, but whatever. But I wish Scar would have won. Speaking of, you know those three brothers, Scar, Chopper, and Celtic, they were actually inspired by our next two members of the Lost Tribe. Stalker, a.k.a. Baby Boar, or Brother Boar. Also, why didn't you tell me he'd fallen over? I had set these all up earlier. This table is slightly canted forward, and the way his arms were positioned, he thumped forward. Oh well, he was taking a nap. Yeah, luckily it's carpeted, and these are fine. Let's play them off here. So yeah, this is one of two brothers made for the film. Hello. We see him at the end. And he is a young blood. I'm not sure if he's even blooded yet, if he's even had his solo hunt. It's possible he's younger, less experienced than even City Hunter. It's a little vague. One neat thing, the mask for Stalker, along with his gauntlets, were actually made new for the film by Stan Winston. I've got him with his combi stick out because if we flip him over, he doesn't have a clip in the back. That's because he has a unique... Not combi sticks. These long stringy things are hang-on things. He has a unique plasma caster. It's kind of like the Jungle Hunters in that it's a big backpack. But unique among Predators, it's on his right. Most Predators have it on the left. And it's also kind of a unique design that, again, is kind of reminiscent of what we would see later in AVP. It pops up and articulates around like that. So it's a big old plasma caster. Interestingly, he actually does not have a computer on his wrist. Instead, he has the alternative net gun I mentioned in the City Hunter video. The City Hunter's net gun was hand mounted and only had one cartridge. This is more arm mounted, clips on, and it has 3 net cartridges. Some have said this is a spear launcher. Could be, but I think it's a net gun. Either way, it's actually one of the neatest things about this figure. Otherwise, he has the typical smart disc on his hip. Of course, he has cloak. And he has this, like I said, mask made unique for him. I actually enjoy this plasma caster too, because it's just a, different style. I was starting to get a little tired of the kind of City Hunter style. Again, why didn't you tell me he'd fallen asleep? Come on, guys. But yeah, he's a young blood. He's the younger brother and not as aggressive, but it's said that he's actually more strategic, more of the planner, more of the tactician of the pair. Kind of sets things up. So, let's look at his big brother. Boar. Hence why Stalker sometimes called Baby Boar. This is the older brother. He is considered to be a little hot-headed, a little aggressive, but also quite dedicated, loyal, and brave. That's why I said these two kind of inspired the 3 brothers we would later see in AVP, because the youngest, Scar, was kind of the smartest, but Celtic, his oldest brother, was stronger and definitely more loyal to his brothers. Very similar face mask, hence why these were kind of considered related, even in the film. Again, made by Stan Winston. He has similar caster on his left shoulder now. In the film, he was unarmed. He had no claws, no caster, no combi stick. The figure would be very boring that way, though, so he comes with the usual accoutrement. But just like his little brother, he doesn't really have a place to clip on a combi stick on his back. He does come with the retracted version, so I just put it in his hands. I thought it'd be nice to have a couple on the shelf with sticks in their hands. Another interesting feature, he has 2 computers, one on each wrist. So his brother has none. He has 2. He also has dual energy flechettes you can deploy out. So instead of a net gun, that's what you get with this guy. I like him, but I like his little brother a little more. I think I just like that wrist-mounted net launcher. So that's pretty much the lore for the real world. They just, special mask and gauntlets from the film. The rest were just kind of reuse and recycle. But in universe, these were said to be 2 brothers that had their original tribe, clan, family decimated. And they were alone with each other, were kind of considered outlaws or indigents. They were street urchins. And they were pickpocketing from other Yautja. It's said that Boar especially wanted to become a hunter, but, didn't have many opportunities. And then he was caught stealing from Grayback, and instead of killing him, he inducted them into his lost tribe, which is maybe why they're still technically observers for Predator 2. We're not really sure if they've had their own solo hunts yet. They may still be kind of on probation. But considering the alternative might have been execution, I can't imagine Predator executions would be quick and painless either. They got off super easy. Might also explain why their armor equipment is a little haphazard too. And maybe baby Boar isn't quite old enough to have his wrist computer. I don't really know. So he could be quite young, just old enough to have graduated and received his combi stick. But no, I like these. Actually, Boar was a little hard for me to find. I had to actually go to eBay for him. Most I just bought directly, but there's always that 1 or 2 you can't get your hands on. But yeah, these are kind of our youngest members, the 2 Boar brothers and City Hunter. Next up, we have Snake Predator, aka the Shadow Hunter. His rank is Assassin, and he's actually not a member of the Lost Tribe as such, not a member of the family. He's more of like a family friend. He likes to go on their hunts with them. He's also good if you need some quiet, close-in killing done. He's a member of the Serpent clan or tribe. And his brother, Viper, who's actually younger, heads up that tribe. But he doesn't want to, he's not a leader, he's a killer. In the real world, he received his name because of his unique skin pattern. Now, all Yautja, are kind of reptilian, snake, lizardy, but it's said that his skin is particularly snake-like, hence the name. And this figure does come with a mask, but I wanted to have at least a couple with their beautiful mugs showing, and since he's all kind of half naked anyway, well, half naked by Predator standards, mostly naked by human standards, thought I'd put him on. He must be relatively young, unless he, again, the sticky out things, unless he actually cuts his dreads. These are actually sensory tendrils. Typically, as age goes on, Yautja grow them longer. His are one of the shortest, so he presumably is quite young, unless he's had his cut or they were cut for him during a fight. He's obviously more of a melee fighter. He's one of the few we don't see with gauntlets, claws. He does have a smart disc. He does come with a combi stick, but he doesn't have a way to stick it on him, so left it off. Instead, he has these very unique hand scythes. Pretty cool. Big. And kind of fits his whole snake motif. Fangs. So I thought this was enough. It'd be kind of neat if there was a collapsed version of these that you could stow on the legs. That'd be kind of, yeah, but still unique. And again, he's kind of using his own body. Interestingly, too, he has kind of fur. There's a furry thing on his shoulder and a couple of furry things on his waist, and it actually feels quite good. It's not that cheap, cheesy stuff. It actually is quite soft. So it's flocking, but it's actually quite high quality. His face. He's neat, but yeah, he's the assassin, not really of the tribe that, I'm sure they call upon. There's some lore about Grayback owing him or his clan a debt, so they let him come on the hunts, but he is in Predator 2, kind of hanging out, being all naked and snaky, and not my favorite, but he's neat. I think I like him more than I thought I would. I think Fox recently picked him up and is quite enamored with him. What do you think? Next up, we have Scout Predator, aka the Lost Hunter, he's sometimes called. And this is maybe a love it or hate it figure, and I love it. Despite the fact this was my first bad NECA. Well, not this one, I got a replacement, but the first one of these guys I bought, it just didn't work out. First, this left arm fell off at the elbow. I thought, I can put some nail polish or glue in there and tighten it up. Then the leg fell off, and I thought, you know what? My guy was just kind of made on a Monday morning or Friday afternoon, so I don't do it often, but I used the Amazon return thing and got a replacement. And I'm glad I did, because I really like him. And this guy's about his accessories, because the body in the film and here is just the city hunter costume body. They made 2 for the film, and of course when he appears at the end, we're down to the one-armed city hunter costume anyway, so the original is kind of left free. But what's kind of neat too is the mask was the original Predator 1 mask, so it's an interesting combo of P1 mask and P2 outfit. He has the standard caster here. Over here we have the standard computer and flechette gun. And actually, I guess this is our first one we've seen besides City that has claws. But he's got a few other things going on. Interestingly for Yautja, he is a gun guy. In Yautja culture, long-range weapons, aside from the plasma caster, somehow that gets a pass, even though it is considered the least honorable way to kill. It's still, almost everyone has it. Other ranged weapons aren't good to them. He is said to be a member of a unique subspecies from an island. That's kind of something NECA made up just to give him more depth. That's fine. But it's said on that island, longer range shots are necessary because of the very aggressive predators there. So the way they kind of obey the honor code system, they don't go to, the Bass Pro Shop and buy guns. They make their own. And that's what Scout did. He made his own plasma weapons. So we have the caster. We have this smaller one on his back, which pegs in place of where the Medicomp would go. You can put either one on. And his regular combi stick there. I actually had a spare clip, so I put it on his leg, kind of the hole that originally was used for the net gun, and I put his little med pack down there because I figure he's a scout. He's going out doing things. He does need a med kit, and I don't mind him being a little geared up. But his main weapon is this Yautja plasma rifle, and it actually isn't even fully extended here. This part comes out further. It is huge, which is cool. It even has a moving articulated bipod, so it's one of the few weapons with a moving part, actually 3. And there are ways to get it in both hands, but I just kind of had him more at parade rest on the shelf and brought it out a little more so you could see it. But I really like it, and that's kind of what makes him. The small gun on his back's cool, but the plasma sniper gun is what makes him. So either you like it or you don't. And I do. And we do see him, of course, at the end of the film. And he's, by necessity, reuse, recycle for NECA too. So aside from having to tool up a couple of accessories, he was a pretty good one for him. And some people really don't like that. They like more of the knives, the guns, and there's plenty of these that are more close quarters guys. So if you like that, if that's your thing, this series is definitely for you. But I actually think it's neat to break it up a bit and have one guy that's more into ranged weapons. In the universe, he's said to be the tribe's strategist. He kind of plans hunts and maybe gives out assignments and kind of scouts things out. You know, maybe going out to get a lay of the land, as you say. Because he is a ranged guy, he's not really meant to take out primary targets. That wouldn't be considered cricket honorable. But he is allowed to take out secondary targets that might be interfering or, might be just, threatening the hunt in other ways. So he basically is kind of the referee, the guard that stands at the perimeter after scouting out and kind of planning out the strategy of the hunt. So, yeah, I like that. Not bad for a reuse, recycle guy we see for a few seconds at the end of a film. That's what's kind of fun about this, is making lore and expanding on it. And he's kind of mid-rank. He's blooded, but he's still kind of in the younger half of the tribe. Now we're moving into the older kind of half, the more middle-aged, more seasoned hunters, and one that has a bit of a confusing name. This is the Lost Predator, not the Lost Hunter that was Scout. Lost Predator, also sometimes called the Armored Lost Predator, because he is kind of wearing more clothes. By human standards, he still might be a little skimpy, but by Predator standards, he's bundled up. But when I was young and in the 90s, he was known as Borg. Yes, named after Star Trek because of, his Borg-like tubes here and on the arm. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen tubes on a Predator. The Jungle Hunter had some, but he only had one or two. This guy, he has more. So that was kind of his nickname for a while. He's considered a blooded hunter. In some of the subsequent canon, he gets a weird backstory about becoming a bad blood with some other figures, but that was kind of based on the old Kenner toy line. I don't mind counting comics and whatnot in future films, but I kind of draw the line at the whole Kenner thing. So, yeah, as far as I know, he's just a good kind of ranking member. He's considered a weapons expert, a seasoned hunter. Like I said, he didn't have wrist gauntlets in the film. He also doesn't have a traditional wrist computer as well. But with all the kind of stuff going on, maybe it's integrated. Also in the film, he had no mask on. But this has a neat mask, more of a tech mask, and I just couldn't not put it on. This figure maybe seems a little light at first as far as accessories, because it comes with 3 heads instead of the usual 2. It comes with a few different hands, and we have this removable sword in the back, which is considered to be an energy sword, not just a standard sword, of course. And the only other weapon he comes with is a shuriken, which is a spiky version of the smart disc. We'll look at them on a different video. He does have some folded up shurikens on his belt too. He was actually maybe my 3rd figure overall. I got him quite early on because I thought he was unique, and I'm not disappointed. He's pretty cool. And a different mold. He is another righty. He has his caster on his right shoulder, kind of a backpack. Interestingly, it's all one piece that comes pre-installed, and it's articulated very different than the other predators. Actually, it's very well articulated. And so it's a unique caster. Yeah, he's one of the more distinctive molds in the line, which is one reason I picked him up early on. He just kind of intrigued me. So aside from not liking his Kinner-inspired backstory, I pretty much like everything else about him. Another thing, too, is he's still got the predator feet. Kind of wish he had boots on. Oh, well. But yeah, he was in the film. And doing his thing. Being Borg. No assimilation, though. But definitely one of the more unique figures. I do wish he maybe came with a little more weaponry. But again, you get two heads. And yes, this is one that has the light-up gimmick. They started doing it. The switch is up here. Whatever. But they started doing that with the Fugitive Predator and carried over to some others. So I think that takes up quite a few of his resources. I'm sure some people like it. Doesn't do me a lot of good, as you can imagine. I would have preferred maybe more weapons, but in the film we really don't see him with many either. But he's just kind of not average, but a seasoned middle-aged hunter, and considered an expert with his sword and the Shuriken smart weapon. So what do you think? He's definitely different. Next up, we come to our first elite ranked predator, Guardian. Also nicknamed Gort. Kind of a play on things from The Day the Earth Stood Still, the robot in that film. But he's definitely not a pacifist. Also, we're back to having wrist gauntlets. He is a temple guard, a guardian. Now, in Predator society, these are the guys that, kind of guarded, protected either the government system or the leader of the tribe. So Grayback in this case. He seems to have served with the Yautja government, maybe as an enforcer before transferring to Grayback. He's a little different though. Kind of like Scout, he prefers, not exactly range weapons, he likes explosions. So he kind of comes with a few things for that. So we got the wrist gauntlet and everything as usual. On this arm, you can install this big old cannon, and it comes complete with blast effects, not just front but back as well. But I don't know. As I've said before, blast effects don't do me much good. And it's not meant to be like an arm replacement. It's more like he puts his hand in it and operates it that way. Not from the film, but you don't have to display him with it. You can just have his regular hand. There is a computer underneath it, but it kind of makes him unique. So it's a kind of an artillery piece, basically like an M79 grenade launcher in Predator form. I don't know what I think about it. It's okay, but I don't know. It's okay. But I might end up taking it off and going standard again. One neat thing is he comes with a proximity mine, which we do see predators using. Now, it's supposed to replace the Metacomp in the back here. Mine will not come off, the Metacomp. It is on there. I even tried prying it off with a little tool. It is not coming off. So what I did, I stuck my prox mine, or what do you want to call it, where the combi stick would go. I figured this guy would prefer to have a exploding thing instead of a combi stick, so he's wearing that on his back instead. Why not? And of course he has the smart disc, kind of traditional, giving him a backup weapon, and his claws. Interesting fact, the mask that Guardian in the film had is essentially the prototype mask from Predator 1. Wasn't in the film, of course, but it's what they considered using, or at least a modified version of it. Otherwise, the body is kind of a modified City Hunter. He has the standard plasma caster, although it is a little bit bigger. A little bit different shape, just a little bit different. But I guess it kind of plays into his liking to blow things up. But this is his main gun. He's pretty neat. I was really looking forward to him. I'm not disappointed, but, and I don't even want to say I'm underwhelmed, but I don't like him as much as I hoped. I like police type guys and enforcer type guys, and yeah. That said, when we get to the AVP line, the opposite kind of happened with that Temple Guard. I ended up being more impressed than I thought I would be. But for the Lost Tribe Guardian, he definitely completes the set. And he comes with a couple of very unique accessories and a really cool mask that plays into Predator lore. So you gotta have him. And he's just kind of the strong arm. Not second in charge, but he's more of a trusted lieutenant, kind of growing up the ranks, and he's got some military experience, so that's neat. He's cool. I guess I'm really not underwhelmed, but you know what I mean? Just one of those things. Our next guy, though, is quite distinctive. Shaman or Shaman Predator. Rank? Shaman. Nickname? Hippie. At least that's what they used to be called back in the day. Because he has the longest dreads going on. Which means he's probably one of the older predators hanging out. And he is very unique. Both in universe and this toy here, this mold. In universe, he's the spiritual leader of the Yautja group here. And by that I mean he's considered a psychopath. Kind of obsessed with death, kind of a morbid thing. So yeah, don't think that he's a peace and love type guy. Although he does seem to have mellowed out a bit in his older age. So I guess there's that. And in the film, he's hanging out with his long dreads. And he does have this unique staff in the film. It's like a combi stick, but it's not. It's more of a spiritual staff. But of course, it can still stab the crap out of you. Because it is a Yautja after all. He also has a unique knife made of bone. And the figure also comes with an axe made from a skull. I don't have it with him. Unfortunately, I do wish there was like a holster, or a sheath, I should say, for his knife. That would be kind of useful. It's obviously more of a ceremonial dagger. He does have a collapsed smart disc on his hip, too. And he has this very old school bone mask. I don't know if it even has any electronics, or if it's just, hey, let's make a skull into a mask. He comes, of course, with both heads, masked or unmasked, but why would you not? And then he has this very giant bib. I don't know what you'd call it. It's a thing. One neat thing about it, even though it's cloth, it's actually wired. So you can actually bend it and shape it and play with it and make dioramas or whatnot. Or you can also take it off. It actually comes off of him in the package, and you have to put it on. Actually, you have to pop the head to put it on. Just FYI if you get one. So yeah, he is one of the most unique ones. He has his own body and sculpt for the most part, own accessories, which it should be, because being a Predator Shaman, it's pretty unique in the Predator universe. In fact, I think he's the only one, or one of the very few of his type, kind of a crazy spiritual leader that we see in the Predator universe. Kind of makes me wonder if he takes the place of maybe an ancient predators tended to be hereditary or designated advisors in various Predator clans, Yautja clans. So I'm sure that's what he does for Grayback. I have a feeling his advice is always kill them. But he's definitely an older predator. Certainly would have been an elite, except his rank, like I said, is Shaman. Interesting guy. I like him. The jury's still out in my own mind, though. And now we're kind of getting to the end. We have another elite here. This is Warrior. Also sometimes known as Ram because of his mask. This is one that I was going to get him, but I wasn't super looking forward to him. I don't know. Kind of more like Boar and Borg and Scout. More of the technological guys. This guy's not that. He's a melee weapons expert. It's said that he honed his skills in the blood arena. Basically, he's a gladiator that goes back to the days when the Yautja themselves were slaves and whatnot. He still goes to the arena sometimes, but he mostly serves as kind of the... the axe is hitting you. Second in command of the Lost Tribe. Primary advisor. He's also a bit of the enforcer, the troubleshooter. According to lore, if City Hunter continued to be sloppy in LA, Warrior might have been sent in to rein him in, draw him back. Again, he's the strongman. He's the Commander Riker. And I like him a lot more than I thought. And this axe is, it's called a battle axe. Whereas things like Borg's sword or like an energy sword, nah, this is just a giant axe. And it is giant. He has the usual smart disc. And he does come with a combi stick. But instead of pegging that in his back... I told you these things are... at least you get a first skin. I stabbed you. Hard to do. I put this flail on his back. He comes with it. And there's a spot where it actually pegs in reasonably tight. Right there. Actually, it's quite tight. Stays on very good. If you need to, you can always put a little tack in there to hold it better. But I wanted to give him that because it is a unique weapon to Warrior here. And that's kind of what makes him. Yeah, you get a unique mask. But he's pretty standard otherwise. We've got the wrist computer as usual. And the claws. And as you obviously see, he can hold this two-handed no problem. I said this stays in, found out it's gonna... This is how cameras go, guys. Any of you that have done videos, you know how this goes. Whenever you do a video, it likes to prove you wrong. Stay in there. The combi sticks can sometimes be ornery, too. And that little C-clamp. It is really hard not to knock something with this weapon. But it is cool, though. I think when I put him back on the shelf, I'm going to go back to being single-handed, kind of standing it upright, because otherwise he just takes up way too much shelf space, and he likes to whack other things off, which makes sense. The Elite Warrior Predator from the Blood Ring. One that I actually like a lot more. It's not my favorite, but I like him a lot more than I thought I would. Cool mask, too. What do you think? There's no way this guy was on Earth and didn't go for a hunt. He definitely didn't sit on the ship. And speaking of the ship, here that one is again. We looked at it a little bit in the previous video. This is the Yautja Mothership, base ship. Basically a traveling hunting camp. Or as I said before, it's kind of like a Klingon version of a Star Destroyer. And again, I couldn't find one in the US for a good price, but I found one in Australia and worked out very well because they haven't actually made these Cinemachines die casts in a while. There's very, 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 very little information, specs, that kind of thing. We don't even know size. These are larger ships. They tended to serve as bases for entire clans. Obviously, the Lost Tribe has 10, but based on its size, it could definitely hold more. In fact, the scout ships we looked at in the Jungle Predator video, so they could dock here, and those each carry 6 drop pods. So chances are this could carry dozens, if not hundreds, of Yautja. Keep in mind, though, they are bigger than us. Most of the ones we looked at today are between 7 and 8 feet tall, meaning in 7-inch scale, they're roughly 8 to 8.5 inches. Too bad we don't have much more information on this. It's very asymmetric. It does have a cloaking device, a stealth device. We do know that it at least has one major energy cannon. It's not a warship, though. It is more of a traveling. It's basically a space Winnebago. Space RV. But it's a Predator. They're going to have some weapons. But it's more for planning missions, scouting, observation, coordination, and most importantly, to the Yautja, storing trophies, telling stories. There are like arenas for fighting and practice here. By the way, no surprise that you would consider Warrior over there a weapons master. I had to put him back to single-handed with his axe because he nearly took out Shaman when I was just moving him around. That is a huge thing. I don't know if it comes across on camera. But yeah, this is their base ship. We see it in the sewers of LA, but it takes off at the end of the film. And of course we see versions of this in AVP and subsequent films and comics. So with no further ado, the leader of the Lost Tribe. Known today as Grayback because of his graying locks. In his younger days, he was known as the Golden Angel because of his kind of unique skin for a Yautja. The guy keeps getting pigeonholed because of his color. What can you do? He was the leader, and he's the only one we actually hear speaking in Predator 2. And he left an impression, for sure. He is classed as an elder, clan leader, tribe leader. He is a very experienced hunter. In fact, he's been to Earth at least once or twice before. And he is battle worn and has everything to show for it. This figure comes with a total of 3 heads. This is the light up one. It also comes with the unmasked head, which is what we see in the film, and he has a more subdued masked face as well. Kind of interesting to get 2 masked faces. He has a caster here. It's removable, kind of a backpack style like Jungle Hunter. One unique thing about this caster is it has the laser targeting sight built into it, not the mask, kind of an old school style. In fact, he's a modified Jungle Hunter body, which makes total sense, being an older hunter. Got the backpack going on, long graying dreads, and he has a sword on the back. Now, unlike the sword that Boar has, this seems to be a trophy sword. It's chipped and beat up and rusty. Definitely doesn't seem like an energy sword. And, of course, he famously has his flintlock pistol. And the stuff here. He's got a lot of stuff hanging off of him. Move you aside. Come on, little pistol. He's got bunches of pouches and stuff. This was quite famous as it was at the end of Predator 2. There's a couple of different origin stories for it, but according to the comics, he got it off an honorable pirate in 1718 when he was on Earth. He took it off the pirate as he died. The pirate gave it to him, and he kept it for a long time before giving it to Mike Harrigan, using the same words to him that the pirate gave it to him, saying, "Take it." Kind of neat. Like I said, sometimes I don't mind the comics. We also see the pistol in the recent Prey film, although it's kind of left ambiguous how it gets to Grayback. So yeah, it's pretty much what he's got. It's trophies. He also has some dog tags from soldiers. He has a 2nd Airborne patch or 2, showing that he was hanging out probably for both World War I and World War II. He even has a piercing, lip piercing, because he's edgy. He was an edgy guy in his younger days. He's getting older, but I bet he was a Deadhead. Him and Tucker Carlson, they used to go to all the Dead concerts. Dude, that's what he was doing before 97. That's why they were on Earth. He went back. Grayback came back to Earth to see Jerry Garcia. Him and Tucker were buds. They did the Dead thing. But then Tucker got a job, and he ended up going back to being a Predator. You know how it goes. Friends come and go. What was I saying? He has a typical wrist gauntlet. Hand. And interestingly, he has the same kind of computer as a jungle hunter, completing this wire, which some people say isn't correct. But interestingly, it's damaged. It's possible it's not even functional. Again, he's old. He shows it. An old, seasoned, experienced Yautja, who also seems to have a very strict code of honor and seems to have an interesting take on aliens and younger Yautja. Again, at the beginning of the video, we talked about how he could have killed Boar and Stalker, but instead of killing them, he did the opposite of basically bringing him into his family. And as you've seen throughout this video, his family is a bit of a motley crew. And he seems to have a lot of interaction with and respect for at least some humans. Maybe not all. He probably gave up on us when boy bands became a thing. He was actually my 2nd NECA Predator after Jungle Hunter, because why would you not? I think he is cool and just, old and seasoned, and probably the 3rd most recognizable Predator after Predator 2. What do you think? Do you like him as much as I do, or you kind of meh? He doesn't come with a bunch of weapons. But then again, that kind of tells you he probably doesn't need one. He probably uses intelligence more than just brute force. And it's nice to have another one on the jungle hunter body instead of the city hunter, which we've seen a lot of here. So he kind of breaks up in the monotony. Plus, any Predator collection's got to have the flintlock on at least one figure. But again, the light up face doesn't really do much for me. But I do like the unique caster. That's cool. And that, folks, is the Lost Tribe. So which is my favorite, which is my least favorite? I can't rank these 1 to 10, because that would change, mood of the day. I will say, like I said, that Warrior is maybe the best surprise. Like him more than I thought. Scout, I really do like, but it's mostly for his accessories. Borg is really high up there. He's cool. Although I wish instead of 3 heads, maybe he had 2 and something else, but that's okay. The Boar brothers are cool, but they're just, they're good background people to have. Snake and Shaman are neat, very unconventional predators, but yeah, more than that. And again, Guardian, I'm okay with, although maybe slightly underwhelmed. I'd have to say Golden, Angel, Elder, Grayback is still my favorite of these. I just like that. Least favorite, there's really not one that I don't like. I could cop out and say Battle Damage City Hunter, but that's not really honest, is it? Yeah, it's really tough. Because each one I kind of like certain things about. If I had to pick a least favorite, I guess I would have to go with Snake. I really like him, but, just have to pick a least favorite, probably him. What can I say? He's got a little bit of that Chip and Dale Dancer thing going on, and he's got a little bit of furry, but I still really like him. And I actually like him more than I thought before I got him, so he definitely did not disappoint. But yeah, I would either say him or Guardian are my least favorite, but this is the least favorite of, a series that I actually really do like. But what do you think? With that, we'll wrap things up, and since I actually recorded the outro right after the intro, Baby Boar will be back to sleep, so, oh well, it happens, right guys? And here we are, back where we started. So, I'm curious, after talking and looking at these, which is your favorite? Or maybe you don't like any of them. It doesn't really bug me that there's a lot of reuse. I mean, they are basically the same family operating from the same ship, so it would make sense that they would have similar armor and equipment. But I am happy when there's kind of the oddball like Borg. And of course, Grayback, kind of attesting to his age, is more like the jungle hunter. But of course, they're all inspired off City Hunter, be it in the real world when they were making costumes, or for the toys from NECA, or in universe. But yeah, let me know your favorite and why. And also for fun, what's your least favorite and why? With that, appreciate you hanging out today with me. This is Misha, and we'll catch you very soon next time.